12 minutes past 7 is the time. Sarah's going to have the weather shortly for us. Timely, actually. So David Attenborough is going to address the UN's Climate Change Summit in Poland later. This amid warnings that the planet is simply at a crossroads.
Yeah, the meeting in Katowice in Poland will call for drastic cuts in emissions to meet the targets set in the Paris Agreement of 2015. We're joined from Poland now by Camilla Bourne, who's from the think tank E3G. Good morning to you, Camilla. I know there's a bit of a delay on the line, so for those watching at home, just in case there's an awkward silence here or there, can you explain first of all, Camilla, exactly what a people's seat is and how it's working?
Of course. So a people's seat is the opportunity for people all over the world to have their voices heard here. We've moved on. We're not just talking about governments coming together at international meetings to decide what we're going to do about climate change. We all have to be part of that societal change, and we've got the opportunity to do so by saying what we want through social media. And then David Attenborough is here representing us as that people's seat, that representative who's going to take our voices to leaders and say that we want more on climate action.
OK, what sort of difference will that actually make? We can see some pictures of Sir David there sort of representing the people's seat. So he makes a speech. Obviously, politicians around the world have the opportunity to listen to that, but they are still the ones who make the decisions.
No, absolutely. And the reason for having that people's voice here is that they make the decisions, but they only make the decisions based on those who elect them, those who give them the permission to take action at home and also to take action internationally. So here, it will give them that extra bounce, that extra impetus to doing more, to pushing faster, to pushing harder, to agreeing the rules that we're working on here. But it will also give them permission to send those signals, that political commitment, that when they go home, they know their citizens expect them to do more and that they'll be putting in the plans so that they can actually deliver more climate action on the ground, which we can all be part of. We can have cleaner cities, we can work in cleaner workplaces, we can use public transport, we've got all these opportunities. We can think about our diets, all these things which can help work together with governments, businesses, investors to really take that climate action that we need urgently. The science says we need it, and having our voices can only help that call to action even more strongly.
Do you think, I mean, we've noticed in the last sort of 6-12 months there's a far more of an appetite for some of the stories that we've followed based on, as we're talking today about recycling of plastic based on Blue Planet 2 and things like that, that there are more and more people who are making those small individual changes in their own lives, and as those add up, that will then make a difference to sort of those who actually make the rules and legislate for what sort of power that we use and all those sorts of things which impact on the environment.
Absolutely. It's really unsettling to know that we're going to live in a future with climate change, and it's really important that we have the opportunity to take action ourselves and to feel empowered as part of the solution. We can take action where we live, where we go to school, where we work. We can demand that we have clean energy powering the way that we live our lives on a day-to-day basis. We can also speak to each other, and I think that's something that's really powerful about David Attenborough starting this conversation. It means that we can talk to each other, we can say, what do we want in our communities? We can vote, we can work with our political representatives, we can work with our leaders, we can work with our teachers, we can work with our bosses, and we can try and make things better, and we can do more climate action.
If Paris was a big step forward, how do you think we'll be looking back at Katowice, 2018 in a few years' time, and what sort of steps need to be made here?
Absolutely. So Paris was an important step forward, a really, really important one. And today in Katowice, we're working on agreeing the sort of operating manual for that Paris Agreement, for really making it work so that it can deliver. What we'll also be needing to see is those signals that governments are going to go home. They're not just here in a talking shop talking about what they're going to do in international level, but they're going to go home and say, we're going to do more. We're going to look at our policies, we're going to look at how we engage our citizens, and we're going to do more climate action. So 2018 in Katowice should be the turning point where governments say, right, next step. We've seen the science, we know we're going to do more, we're going to go home, we're going to work out those plans, we're going to engage our citizens, and we're going to start taking even deeper climate action to protect our futures.
And just to put the voice of sort of negative Nelly this morning as well, I mean, what sort of difference can you make if you've not got the full support of a huge superpower like America? And also the controversy of holding an event like this in a country like Poland, where there's still a huge dependency on coal power and a further commitment to increase that over the coming years.
Absolutely, it's really important to consider this, but it's also important to be honest and true to the science. We know that people want this and we know we have to take action. In the US, for example, we've seen businesses, we've seen cities, we've seen investors all coming out and saying, we don't care what the federal government is doing at this point. We care about taking action on climate change and we're going to do it regardless. We need to do that. Here in a coal region, absolutely, that is the past. We had that in the UK as well. We had coal regions. But we need to move forward. We want to modernise our economies. We want to have clean air in our cities, and there is an opportunity to do so, which helps us as citizens, helps us as countries, and moves us into a modern and more prosperous society and economy.
Camilla, thank you very much. Good to talk to you. That's Camilla Bourne, who is in Poland for us this morning, where Sir David Attenborough will be making that speech, the People's Seat, putting forward those views a little bit later on.
Let's talk to Sarah, find out what's happening with the weather. 17 minutes past 7. Sarah, it was absolutely miserable at the weekend.
It was, Naga, wasn't it? Yeah, good morning to you, Naga and Dan. Well, yeah, the weekend was a bit of a washout for many of us. Unsettled theme to the weather. For some of us, the weather's still looking a little bit unsettled out there today, but not everywhere. So it's a bit of a north-south split. Across the northern half of the UK, there's a risk of some icy stretches across Scotland, but there will be some sunshine. Further south, it's milder, but there is more of that showery rain around. This picture has just come in from one of our weather watchers, so the sun just starting to creep up now. This is how the skies are looking in Norfolk. Fairly clear at the moment, but there's more cloud and rain working eastwards across much of England and Wales through the course of the day. So some heavy bursts initially across parts of North Wales, could be the odd rumble of thunder, some heavy showers for the southwest of England. As they push further eastwards later in the day, they'll tend to ease a little bit. But further north, it's a different picture. A northerly breeze for Scotland, Northern Ireland and much of northern England too. So temperatures here just around 6 to 8 degrees, but some sunshine. Do watch out for the odd icy stretch across Scotland this morning and 1 or 2 wintry flurries over the higher ground later on. Now into the evening hours, we're going to be seeing temperatures drop fairly quickly as the cloud clears from eastern England. A cold night ahead wherever you are. The winds fall light, so temperatures are going to be a few degrees either side of freezing for most of us. There could be more snow over the mountains of Scotland and again a risk of some icy stretches. But I think really wherever you are, you're likely to see a cold, frosty start to Tuesday morning. Scenes a little bit like this one. So tomorrow starts off on that chilly note, but actually not a bad day. We'll see more sunshine in the south than we've seen certainly over recent days. Again, the northern half of the UK looks largely dry and sunny, just 1 or 2 snow flurries across the mountains of Scotland, for instance. There'll be more rain and cloud working into the southwest later in the day, so turning milder here. But for most of us, 5 to 9 degrees, so cooler than it has been, but some sunshine to be enjoyed. Into the evening hours on Tuesday, that rain in the southwest creeps its way northwards and eastwards across much of the country. A soggy old start to Wednesday for Northern Ireland, much of England and Wales too. Clearer and drier for the north of Scotland, but you'll notice some white colours on the map. So some of that rain could turn to snow over the northern Pennines, the southern uplands for a time before it turns milder from the south later in the day. But a bit of an unsettled, mild and pretty breezy day to come on Wednesday. And then low pressure stays with us looking ahead through Thursday and on into Friday too. So a few more showers on Thursday. I think by Friday the main theme is going to be the strength of the wind blowing around this area of low pressure. So a blustery day, further showers as we head through Thursday into Friday, but a hint that things could turn a little bit brighter by Saturday. Back to you both.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Got a bit of rain, but got the sunshine, which you know I love.
Improvement on the way.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yes.